All right, so today we're going deep, like really deep, into some seriously thought-provoking stuff. We're talking Isaac Asimov,
Okay.
specifically his science fiction story, The Last Question.
All right.
And we'll be pairing that
Oh, love
with
that
The
story.
Law of One,
Very different.
a channeled text.
Yes, very different, at least on the surface.
And that's what makes this so fascinating, right? You've got science fiction, and then you've got this spiritual text.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to explore. What happens when these two seemingly disparate worlds collide?
Can they illuminate each other?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, the last question wrestles with this concept of entropy, the universe slowly winding down, like a clock losing its spring.
Right, and in this story, humanity is desperately searching for a way to reverse that, avoid the inevitable heat death of the universe.
Right. I keep asking this question generation after generation. Is this possible?
Right, they pose this last question to these increasingly sophisticated computers, starting with the massive multivac,
Oh, yeah.
and then eventually this super advanced AC.
Yeah, it's fascinating how Asimov portrays that evolution, like their understanding of the universe grows.
But the answer, it remains elusive
It does.
for a long time. But what I find so compelling is that human drive for knowledge,
Yeah.
even in the face of ultimate extinction.
Yeah, they're driven to understand this fundamental problem.
Right.
Like almost for the benefit of all future beings, you know? Like it's almost as if their scientific pursuit becomes an act of service.
That's a really interesting point. It's like they're not just trying to cling to life.
Right.
They're trying to understand the universe on this really deep level.
Exactly. It's about more than just survival. It's about meaning. It's about purpose.
Right, but how does that idea of scientific pursuit as service square with the Law of One,
Yeah.
which seems to emphasize spiritual growth over technological solutions?
That's the tension. That's what makes this conversation so interesting. The Law of One presents this concept of service to others as the driving force behind spiritual evolution.
Right.
Love, compassion, recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings.
It's a beautiful idea.
It is, and it contrasts this with service to self, the path of separation and control.
So are the characters in The Last Question motivated by service to all creation?
Hmm.
Or is it just fear of oblivion, like a clinging to self-preservation?
That's the question. And it's a question each listener needs to grapple with.
Right as they delve into these sources, what resonates with you?
Do you see Asimov's characters as driven by fear or by a genuine desire to serve? Or maybe a bit of both?
Right. It's complex.
It is. And then you've got this other fascinating concept in the Law of One
Wanderer.
being who choose to incarnate into lower densities.
Like ours.
To
Is this an
accept-
evolution?
Yeah,
They often feel out of place, drawn to knowledge and service.
right. But maybe struggling to find a sense of belonging.
Right. Have you ever felt that way?
Mm.
Drawn to these big questions. Like there's a reason you're here listening to this, exploring these ideas.
It's a powerful concept.
It,
And it makes you wonder, could the scientists in the last question be like wanderers?
right, driven by this inner urge to solve this cosmic problem, even though it transcends their individual lifespan.
Absolutely. Maybe even transcending humanity itself.
Right. It's like they're carrying the weight of the universe on their shoulders, trying to unravel this cosmic mystery.
It is. And the Law of One, it dives even deeper into this idea of evolution, talking about densities of awareness,
Okay.
each density representing a higher level of understanding and connection.
So could we view the characters in The Last Question as metaphorically striving for a higher density?
Yeah, through their relentless quest to understand and overcome entropy.
Like escaping heat death represents some kind of spiritual advancement.
Now that's where things get really intriguing. If we consider the Law of One's framework, the scientist's pursuit of knowledge,
Right.
their yearning to understand the universe and its fate, could be seen as a step towards activating higher levels of consciousness.
So instead of viewing science and spirituality as separate, maybe they're intertwined.
Yeah.
Maybe the pursuit of knowledge, the desire to understand the universe, can actually be a catalyst for spiritual growth.
It's a compelling thought, and it brings us back to that key concept from the Law of One's service to others.
Because even though the scientists in The Last Question are driven by a desire to preserve life,
Right.
maybe that desire is rooted in a deeper longing for connection, for unity.
It could be a transcendence that goes beyond the limitations of individual existence.
Okay, so we've got entropy, spiritual evolution, service to others, wanderers,
Yeah.
and we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
What else can the Law of One help us understand about Asimov's The Last Question?
Well, let's dive into some of the more specific concepts from the Law of One.
Okay.
Like those energy centers you mentioned earlier.
Right, the chakras.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've always found that stuff a little, well, woo-woo. I mean, how do we even know these energy centers are real?
I get it. It's true that these energy systems aren't recognized by mainstream science.
Right.
However, many ancient traditions from yoga to acupuncture have been working with these energy systems for centuries.
Okay,
The Law of One, it provides a perspective on how these energy centers might influence our perceptions, our motivations,
right.
even our choices on a cosmic scale.
Okay, let's say we entertain the possibility that these energy centers are real. What can we do about it?
Right.
Can we actually unblock these centers and harness their power?
That's where things get really exciting. The Law of One suggests that we have a great deal of agency
Hmm?
when it comes to our energy systems. We're not just stuck with whatever energy patterns we've inherited
Right.
or developed over time.
We can actually change them.
Exactly. And that's where the connection to free will becomes so powerful. By choosing to engage with these practices, by choosing to become aware of our energy systems and make conscious choices about how we want to work with them, we're essentially taking control of our own evolution.
And this idea of choice, of actively shaping our own evolution,
Yeah.
that aligns beautifully with the themes we see in the last question.
Right. Those scientists, they're constantly striving, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Now that you mention it, I'm starting to see some intriguing connections. Remember how we talked about the scientists' drive to solve the ultimate problem in the last question? Wouldn't that be a powerful expression of the solar plexus chakra?
The solar
The
plexus?
center of will and personal power.
Absolutely. It's like their unwavering determination
Right.
to find an answer, even in the face of a seemingly inevitable cosmic ending, is a testament to the strength of their will.
It's like their willpower is fueling their scientific exploration.
Exactly.
And notice how their understanding evolves over time,
Mm,
each generation refining the question and building upon the knowledge of those who came before.
yeah.
Perhaps that's them moving towards activating higher chakras, seeking wisdom and connection beyond just personal power.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
So even though the characters in the last question aren't explicitly engaging with these energy systems,
Right.
maybe their actions could be seen as a kind of unconscious activation, like they're driven by a force they may not even fully understand,
Mm.
a force that's pushing them toward a higher level of awareness, even if they're focused on seemingly external goals like reversing entropy.
Exactly. And that's what makes this exploration so fascinating. It suggests that even if we're not fully aware of these energy centers, even if we haven't consciously chosen to work with them, our choices, our intentions, our actions still have an impact on our energy systems. And by making choices that align with love, with unity, with service to others, we're naturally moving towards greater balance and harmony. But let's unpack this connection between energy centers and the story even further.
Okay? I'm ready for more.
All right, so we've been focusing a lot on the solar plexus chakra,
Yeah.
that center of will and determination.
Right.
But what about the other chakras, especially those associated with higher consciousness?
Okay, yeah, how do they fit into the picture?
Well, consider the heart chakra, the center of love and compassion. In the last question, the scientists are driven by a desire to preserve life, to extend existence.
Right.
Could that desire be seen as a manifestation of the heart chakra? An expression of a love that transcends individual concerns and encompasses all of creation.
It's like, on the surface, their motivations seem driven by fear,
Right.
by a desire to avoid annihilation.
Of course.
But maybe, at a deeper level, it's about something much more profound.
Mm,
A love for existence itself.
right.
A yearning to preserve the beauty and complexity of the universe, even in the face of its inevitable decline.
Precisely. And that's where the Law of One can offer a truly transformative perspective. It suggests that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges like entropy, love can be a guiding force,
Right.
a source of strength and inspiration.
Powerful.
And maybe that's what ultimately drives the scientists in the last question, a love for all that is, a desire to see creation continue,
Right.
even if the form it takes evolves beyond our current understanding.
So we've got the solar plexus chakra driving the scientists' relentless pursuit of knowledge,
Mm,
and the heart chakra fueling their desire to preserve existence.
yeah,
What about the even higher chakras, like the third eye and the crown chakra?
right.
Do they come into play at all in the last question?
Well, remember how the story ends. The unified AC, now encompassing all of existence,
Right.
finally arrives at an answer to the last question.
And its answer is,
Let there be light.
wow.
It's a moment of pure creation, a reset of the cosmic cycle, a testament to the power of consciousness to transcend even the most fundamental laws of physics.
Right.
Could that be seen as a manifestation of those higher chakras, those centers of intuition, wisdom, and connection to the divine?
Whoa. So even though the scientists are focused on seemingly external problems like entropy and heat death,
Yeah,
maybe their journey is actually leading them towards an internal awakening, an expansion of consciousness that ultimately allows them to tap into the very source of creation itself.
That's the beauty of exploring these seemingly disparate sources together. They illuminate each other in unexpected ways, offering insights that wouldn't be apparent if we only focused on one or the other. And it's through these unexpected connections, these moments of that we can start to unlock a deeper understanding of ourselves, the universe, and the infinite possibilities that lie within each of us.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started.
Oh yeah, there's so much more.
I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Me neither. But for now, let's pause and let all of this sink in. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, what stands out to you as particularly resonant or thought-provoking?
For me, it's the realization that these seemingly complex concepts, entropy, spiritual evolutions, energy centers, are all intricately connected,
Right.
woven together into the fabric of existence. And it's through exploring these connections, through challenging our assumptions and expanding our perspectives, that we can unlock a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the grand scheme of things.
I couldn't agree more. And what's so exciting is that this exploration isn't just about gaining intellectual knowledge. It's about empowering ourselves to make conscious choices that align with our highest aspirations, to become active participants in the unfolding story of creation itself.
Exactly. And that's what I hope our listeners will take away from this deep dive.
Right.
It's not just about understanding the universe, it's about understanding ourselves, our potential, and the infinite possibilities that lie within each of us. But we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
Right.
There's still so much more to uncover, especially when we start to explore the practical applications of the Law of One's teachings.
Exactly. Because if understanding these energy centers is the key to unlocking our true potential, then we need to dive a little deeper into that. We'll tackle those questions and more when we come back for part 2 of this deep dive. Okay, so we're back, ready to dive even deeper into these energy centers.
The chakras.
Right, the chakras. Last time we talked about how the solar plexus and heart chakras might be playing out in the last question.
Right.
But I'm still a little fuzzy on how all 7 of these energy centers actually work.
Sure. So imagine each chakra as a spinning wheel of energy.
Okay.
These wheels, they're located along your spine, from the base to the crown of your head.
Right.
They influence different aspects of your being. When they're spinning freely, energy flows smoothly.
Okay.
You're likely to feel balanced and vibrant.
Right.
But if a wheel gets stuck or blocked, it can create all sorts of imbalances. It can affect your emotions, your thoughts, even your physical well-being.
So tell me more about these blockages.
Okay.
What causes them and what can we do about them?
Well, think about it. Life throws a lot of stuff at us.
Yeah.
Joy, sadness, fear, anger, excitement, all these emotions.
Right.
Experiences can impact our energy centers, traumas, limiting beliefs, negative self-talk.
Right.
These can all contribute to blockages.
So it's like our experiences can get stuck in these energy centers.
In a way, but the good music, we're not powerless. Just like the scientists in the last question persistently sought a solution to entropy.
Right, they never gave up.
Exactly.
So we can actively work with our energy centers
Right.
to clear those blockages and restore balance.
Yeah, and there are different approaches we can use.
Okay, so what kind of work are we talking about here? Give me some examples.
Well, the Law of One suggests a variety of approaches. Meditation, for instance.
Meditation.
It can help quiet the mind,
Right.
allow energy to flow more freely. Mindfulness practices.
Like paying attention to your breath.
Exactly. Paying attention to your breath, your body sensations
Right.
can increase your awareness of where energy might be stuck. And then there are energy healing modalities.
Energy healing.
Things like Reiki, which can help clear and balance the chakras directly.
Okay, so it's like we're using different techniques to interact with these energy systems.
Right.
To influence their flow and balance.
It is. It's about finding what works for you.
Right, because we're all different.
We are. And just like those scientists in the last question,
Right.
they had to experiment, to try different approaches to find a solution.
Right, it wasn't a straight path.
It wasn't.
It's a journey.
Exactly. And the Law of One reminds us that evolution is a process,
Hmm.
not a destination. It's about continually striving to expand our awareness,
Right.
to refine our understanding of ourselves and the universe, just like those scientists kept refining their question to the supercomputer.
That makes me think about the concept of free will, which we touched on earlier. The Law of One really emphasizes this idea
Right.
that we have the power to choose our path, to shape our own destiny.
It does.
But how does that work within the context of these energy centers?
Right.
If our chakras are blocked or imbalanced, doesn't that limit our choices?
It's true that blockages can create patterns in our lives that feel difficult to break free from.
Right, it's like getting stuck in a rut.
It is, but the beauty of free will is that it's always available to us,
Okay,
even amidst those limitations.
that we still have a choice.
We do, just like those scientists chose to keep searching for a solution to entropy.
Right.
We can choose to engage in practices that help us clear those blockages and create more space for positive change.
So it's not about being free from challenges
Mm.
or limitations, but about recognizing that we always have the power to choose how we respond to them.
Exactly. And that choice,
Right.
that act of consciously choosing to engage with our energy systems and to align ourselves with the principles of service to others,
Right.
that can be incredibly empowering.
It's like taking control of our own evolution.
It is.
This is all starting to make more sense now.
Good.
But I'm still curious about the specific qualities associated with each chakra.
Okay.
You mentioned that the root chakra is about grounding and security.
Yeah.
The sacral chakra is linked to creativity and emotions.
Right.
And the solar plexus is about personal power and will.
Hmm.
What about the higher chakras? What kind of qualities and experiences are they associated with?
Well, as we leave up the energy system,
Okay.
the chakras deal with increasingly subtle aspects of our being. The heart chakra, for instance.
The heart chakra?
It's the bridge between the lower and higher chakras.
Right.
It's about love, compassion, and connection.
Right.
And not just romantic love, but a love that encompasses all beings.
Okay, so a universal love.
Right. When this chakra is open and balanced, we're more likely to experience empathy, forgiveness, and a deep sense of connection to others.
So if we go back to the last question,
Hmm.
think about how the characters are ultimately driven by a desire to save all life from extinction.
Right.
Could that be seen as an expression of the heart chakra?
Absolutely. It's like their scientific pursuit is guided by a deeper underlying compassion for all beings.
Right, like a desire to see life flourish,
Exactly.
even in the face of a seemingly inevitable end.
Precisely. And that's where the Law of One can offer a truly transformative perspective.
Okay,
It suggests that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges,
right.
like entropy, love can be a guiding force,
Powerful.
a source of strength and inspiration.
Okay, I like that.
Good.
Okay, so what about the throat chakra?
The throat chakra.
You mentioned it's associated with communication and self-expression.
Right. It's about speaking our truth, authentically expressing ourselves,
Right.
communicating effectively with others.
So in the last question,
Hmm.
we see the scientists constantly refining their question, seeking ever more precise language to articulate their deepest yearning.
Exactly. Could that be seen as a manifestation of the throat chakra? Striving to express the inexpressible? To give voice to humanity's ultimate question.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
It's like they're pushing the very limits of language itself.
To try and communicate with this super advanced computer.
Right, to communicate with something far beyond human comprehension.
Right, and to express this profound longing for understanding and renewal.
It is, and it highlights the power of the throat chakra to bridge the gap between our inner world and the external world. To give voice to our deepest truths, and to connect with others on a level that transcends words.
Okay, so we've got the heart chakra fueling compassion,
Hmm,
and the throat chakra striving for authentic expression.
yeah.
What about the third eye chakra?
The third eye?
That center of intuition and indivision.
Right, the third eye chakra is all about accessing our inner wisdom, developing our intuition, and seeing beyond the limitations of the physical world.
How does that come into play in the last question?
Well, think about how the scientists are grappling with a problem that transcends their current understanding. They're constantly seeking new knowledge,
Right.
expanding their awareness, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Could this relentless pursuit of understanding be seen as a manifestation of the third eye chakra?
It could be like they're opening to a wider perspective,
Right.
seeking a vision of reality that goes beyond the limitations of their current knowledge.
It's like they're trying to see beyond the veil of the known
Yeah.
to glimpse a deeper truth that lies hidden beneath the surface of reality.
And isn't that what the third eye is all about? Piercing through illusions and accessing a deeper level of understanding.
Exactly.
And it's through that deeper understanding, that expanded awareness, that they're able to keep refining their question, to keep seeking until they finally arrive at an answer that transcends the limitations of their initial understanding.
This is incredible.
It's a lot to take on.
I'm starting to see how each chakra can be mapped onto the story. It's offering a whole new dimension of meaning to the character's motivations and actions.
It is. It adds another layer to the story.
But we haven't talked about the crown chakra yet.
The crown chakra.
You mentioned that it's about our connection to the divine, to universal consciousness.
It is.
So how does that ultimate chakra play out in the last question?
Well, remember how the story ends. The unified AC.
Right, encompassing all of existence.
Exactly.
Finally arrives at an answer.
Right. Let there be light.
Pure creation.
It is a moment of pure creation, a reset of the cosmic cycle.
Right.
A testament to the power of consciousness to transcend even the most fundamental laws of physics.
Right, so could that be seen as a manifestation of the crown chakra?
It could, a glimpse into the infinite creative potential that resides within each of us.
So even though the scientists start their journey focused on a seemingly external problem like entropy,
Yeah.
their relentless pursuit of knowledge ultimately leads them to a profound spiritual awakening, a connection to something far greater than themselves.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of this deep dive. It's not just about understanding the universe, it's about understanding ourselves, our potential, and the infinite possibilities that lie within each of us. By exploring these seemingly disparate sources, a science fiction masterpiece and a channeled text, we're able to see the interconnectedness of everything, the way that science and spirituality can intertwine to reveal a deeper truth.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've explored some profound concepts and connected them in ways I never would have imagined.
It's amazing what happens when we bring different perspectives together.
So what's the one takeaway you hope our listeners will carry with them from this exploration?
I hope they'll remember that they're not just passive observers in a predetermined play. They're active participants,
Right,
co-creators of their own reality.
right. And they have the power to shape their own destiny.
Exactly. And within each of them lies the potential for incredible growth,
Right.
transformation, and connection to something far greater than themselves.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, I encourage you to keep exploring these sources, to delve deeper into the mysteries of Asimov's imagination and the wisdom of the law of one.
It's a fascinating journey.
It is. And most importantly, to experiment with these practices,
Mm,
to see how they can empower you to live a more fulfilling, purposeful, and connected life.
exactly. It's about taking this knowledge and putting it into practice.
Right, making it real in your own life.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep asking the big questions, and keep shining your light. Okay, so here we are, the final part of our deep dive. We've gone deep into Asimov's The Last Question
Deep.
and the Law of One. Explored some seriously mind-blowing concepts,
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
like entropy, spiritual evolution, and the idea that those scientists in the story, they might be like unconsciously activating their chakras.
Right, through their relentless pursuit of knowledge. It's a fascinating idea.
It is. But now I'm thinking, how do we apply all this to our own lives?
That's the key question, isn't it? We've been exploring all these ideas about energy centers, chakras,
Right,
how they influence our motivations, even our choices.
right.
But how do we actually use this understanding to live better lives, more balanced, more fulfilling lives?
Exactly. It's great to talk about all these concepts, but how do we actually work with these chakras?
Right. How do we clear blockages, balance our energy?
Right, how do we actually do it?
Well, the law of one emphasizes that we have a lot of agency. When it comes to our energy systems, we're not just victims of our circumstances or our past experiences.
Right,
We have the power to choose
okay,
how we respond to challenges, how we cultivate awareness of our energy,
right.
how we engage in practices that support our growth and evolution.
So we're not just along for the ride, we can actually steer the ship.
Precisely. And just like those scientists in the last question, relentlessly pursuing a solution.
Right, they didn't give up.
We can approach our own personal growth with that same determination, that same commitment.
So where do we start?
It starts with awareness.
Okay,
Pay attention to your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations. Those are clues
okay.
to where energy might be blocked or flowing freely in your system.
So it's like a mindfulness practice, just noticing what's going on inside.
Exactly. And from that awareness, we can start to experiment
Okay.
with different practices. Meditation, for instance.
Meditation, right?
It can be really helpful for calming the mind,
Mhm.
allowing energy to flow more smoothly.
Right. But I've tried meditation, and I can never quiet my mind.
That's common.
Yeah,
The key is to approach it gently, without judgment.
Okay.
It's not about stopping your thoughts. Just notice them,
right.
without getting carried away by them, like watching clouds drift by.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Good.
So we've got meditation. What else? What other practices can help us work with these chakras?
Visualization is another powerful tool.
Visualization.
Imagine each chakra as a spinning wheel of light.
Okay,
If you sense a blockage, visualize that wheel becoming unstuck, spinning freely, radiating color.
okay.
You can even use affirmations,
Affirmations.
positive statements
Right.
that support the qualities of each chakra.
So if I'm feeling insecure, I could focus on my root chakra, visualize it as strong, and repeat something like, I am safe and secure.
Exactly. And as you practice, you might start to notice subtle shifts in your energy, your emotions, your well-being.
This is starting to feel a lot less woo-woo
Good.
and more like a practical guide. Like we're taking those abstract concepts
Right.
from the law of one
Yeah.
and figuring out how to actually use them.
That's the goal. It's not about dogma or blind faith.
Right.
It's about exploration, finding what works for you.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the last question. How do these practices connect with those bigger themes, like entropy, and the fate of the universe.
All right, well, remember how the scientists are trying to overcome entropy.
Right, they want to preserve life.
Exactly. We can view entropy as a metaphor for the challenges we face in life.
Right, like aging, loss,
Well,
obstacles.
those inevitable parts of life.
So instead of trying to avoid them,
Hmm.
we could see them as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. That's where the connection to spiritual evolution comes in.
Right,
The Law of One suggests that our challenges are there to help us evolve,
right.
to expand our consciousness.
To become more than we are.
Exactly. To develop compassion, wisdom, resilience.
So we're all on this journey towards let there be light.
I love that. It's like we each have that potential to tap into that infinite creative force within us.
Right, and maybe by working with our chakras, we can accelerate that journey.
It's possible.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all of this?
I hope they'll remember that they're not just passive observers, they're active participants,
Right,
co-creators of their own reality.
powerful.
And within each of them lies incredible potential for growth, transformation, connection to something greater.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, I encourage you to keep exploring, delve deeper into Asimov, into the Law of One.
Yes, keep asking those big questions.
And most importantly, experiment. Try these practices, see how they can empower you to live a more fulfilling life
A more purposeful life.
and a more connected life. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep shining your light.